All right, I am so excited to be back with y'all. I have missed y'all so much, and I'm even more excited to share this amazing guest and her story with you because it is just chef's kiss amazing. So many different experiences, so many nuggets that we're gonna be able to pull from inspiration. But before we get started, I want to welcome you all to Alumni on Air. This is an initiative by Teach for America Memphis alumni team. I'm the managing director of alumni, Jamisha Hayes. I did the core in 2011, and I would not be able to do any of this without my right hand, James Larkin, who's our director of alumni communications. And Alumni on Air is an opportunity for us to hear about all the great work that our alums are doing in the city of Memphis and affecting the broader community and the broader world. And so we're going to get right in with this. Now, first, Yolanda, did you sign? I said I gave her name away because I know her personally, but also,
Yes.
did you sign this wall?
I did not, Jamisha. I have not signed the wall.
See?
I've been so busy in education that I just have not had time to sign the wall.
We're going to make sure you sign this wall, but you know what? You're already living out, reimagining what's possible with who you are and how you show up.
Yes,
But let's go ahead and jump into it. So who are you? Give us a little backstory on your name and all of that.
All right, I am Yolanda Bradley, better known as Yolanda Denby before I got married to my awesome husband, Troy Bradley.
Shout out, husband.
Today, actually, February 27th is our 9th-year anniversary of us being married. So today is definitely a special day. So I am a mother. I have 2 wonderful children. They're both grown. These are my bonus babies. Tamara, who just graduated from the University of Memphis. She's 23. And then I also have an older daughter named Tania. She has 2 wonderful kids. I'm a grandmother.
Look at
An
that.
educator.
Look at
A
that.
chef.
A chef. I was saying so much, y'all. So much. Get ready. Get your tummies ready and all that. Yes. So is there any history behind your name? Did you know, like Yolanda?
Yeah, so my middle name is Marie, Yolanda Marie. My mom was very intentional with my name because I was born in February. My birthday was 6 days ago.
Happy belated birthday.
Just turned the awesome 49.
Oh my gosh.
So just the meaning with my name, it means beautiful flower or violet flower. It's a Spanish name. So it's my middle name. And my birthstone is amethyst, right? So it was very. She said she didn't do that on purpose, but I got a feeling she did. Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm loving that. Okay, so bring us in because there's so much to your story.
Yes,
So, what core year were you?
2019.
2019
Yeah.
core.
I was accepted in 2017, but did not do the court until 2019. So I was accepted in Atlanta when I first hooked up with TFA, and then by circumstances, it just brought me to Memphis, and then I ended up becoming part of the court membership at Memphis.
Wow. So, okay. So, tell us about how did you hear about TFA? What were your experiences? What was happening right before you applied to TFA?
Right before I applied to TFA, I was just in a place of just trying to find my purpose. So literally it was maybe about 4 months before I graduated. In my mind, I was an African American Studies major. I was like, I'm going to teach because I am an older adult. I wasn't a typical college student at the time. So I'm like, hey, if I could do anything else for the rest of my life, I would love to teach Black history. And of course, it wasn't being taught into primary schools or anything like that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it on the collegiate level. But like I said, I just literally was praying for purpose, and it brought me to TFA. I was going to, a friend of mine asked me to go to a career fair.
Okay.
And I'm like, sure, I'll go there with you. I said, I still don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna go. And I go to the career fair, and I'm literally looking at food places because that was my background. It was in food. And it was this cute little young lady. She was probably about 19 years old, 20 years old. She's like, hey, come on over here. She was like, can I just talk to you for a second? I'm like, I'm gonna go over here. She's by herself. I was like, let me just give her some love. She's like, have you ever thought about teaching? I said, yeah, I want to be, a professor. She said, no, the littles. I said, well, who's the littles?
Who are the littles?
I said, I don't know who the littles are. And she was like, come over here and let me talk to you. She said, do you want some dinner tonight? I And I'm just sitting up here thinking, like, well, I can eat.
I can eat.
TFA knows how to reel you in. I said, I can eat.
I can eat.
She said, well, why don't you just, when this is over with, we're going to have a get-together down here. We're just going to talk to some folks. And why don't you come down here and meet some people? So I went that night.
Yeah.
Changed my life. It literally changed. I mean, I left out of there, tears. You know, they had me talking, shared my story, and I heard other people's story. I got to meet a lot of alumni, and I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. I said, this is what I need to do. Like, oh my God, advocate for children.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, children who grew up like me. Oh my gosh, they need a voice. They need a hero. I'm going to be that person, right? But yeah, it just changed my life, and I have not looked back since.
Oh my goodness! Just you can eat. That just stepping into that allowed that.
Yeah.
So you applied then for the 2017 court, got into Atlanta.
So that was the thing. I could not teach in Atlanta. Like I did my interview and everything, you know, due to my background. I couldn't teach in Atlanta, unfortunately. And you know, shout out to Atlanta. No hard feelings. I get it. But I have a background whereas they would not allow me to be certified. And I'm like, well, okay. So I just kept cooking, kept working in different various restaurants, nice restaurants, right? Like I made really great money teaching. I mean, cooking and being a chef, but you know, I knew that I had a higher calling and I really wanted to try to keep walking in purpose. But I just kept cooking, kept being a chef. And things were happening. Like I was getting promoted in that world, and my name was getting more out there in Atlanta. And all of a sudden, my husband's career took a different path, and they were wanting to promote him. And it was like, well, we have to send you to Memphis. And we literally just moved into our house. We wasn't even there for 6 months. I've been like, this was my dream home, my cul-de-sac, by a park, all these wonderful things. And I just had to follow my husband. Like, I was like, okay, we'll walk by faith and not by sight. And I'm gonna go. Get here, and like, this is how you know it's kismet. So I'm working, I'm still being a chef, and my boss, had a brother-in-law who owned a school. And that is how that happened. And didn't even reach out to TFA yet in Memphis because I just wasn't, you know, I was kind of down, right? I was just like, well, you know, I'm trying to figure out my purpose, but now I just had a little hiccup. I had a little block, and you know, maybe this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. So let me just sit back and think about it. So, you know, I was still like, well, this is not gonna happen, but I'll meet with him. Met with him, came to his school the next day, fell in love with all these beautiful black, brown, tan faces. And he offered me a job, and I was just like, I don't know if. And next thing you know, I reached out to TFA of Memphis, and here I am.
Oh my goodness! So you got the job here, so y'all moved here, and your background is because you were a chef. Things of that, because it did, and that is true for some of us. For some regions, there are different requirements for each region, but in the Memphis region, we're our own licensing body, and so we have a lot more leeway in some ways to be able to help people with different backgrounds, and so that is definitely a great thing. And then with the chef aspect, I bet again that was I find it interesting that you had a passion, which is like nurturing people with food, and now you're nurturing people with knowledge.
You better tie that in.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, so when I did my interview in Atlanta, that was what I did. Everybody else there up here doing these lesson plans that they prepared. I made guacamole. I taught them how to make guacamole from scratch. And it was like, baby, passed it around. They tore it up. So I got the job. Safely to say, you know, that, everything was great after that. So yeah, it never stopped me. Like, you know, please believe it. Like, I truly understand with me being a woman of a certain age that things will happen, right? But that does not mean that door is closed, right? Like it might be a little blockage, right? You might need to move something out the way to get through that door, but it doesn't stop anything, especially when you know that you're in alignment and you're trying to work in purpose. So like I said, shout out to Atlanta. I know that they would have loved to have me and things like that, but hey, it's okay. It was meant
to be here.
For me to come here.
So what grade did you teach when you got here?
When I got here, I started teaching 5th grade.
And what content?
ELA.
Okay, so it's not necessarily the Black history or African American history, but it still is in one of those literature, like the more reading, so you got to pull your elements in, or
definitely. And I use a lot of history. I use a lot of history to be able to reach kids, to talk to kids about Black history and just history in general, right? We just weren't reading all adventure stories. I made sure that they had a plethora of different things to learn about in science, because I have a thing for science too, and history. I just love things that are real facts. Yeah.
Well, that's because you're a real person. You're so real. So real. So can you give us a teaching experience? So you, just being a non-traditional applicant and Corps member, give us a little bit more behind the scenes on your experience in the Corps and teaching and all of that, and training and all of those things.
At first I felt old, I mean, come on, it's okay. We're talking about babies fresh out of college. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of us that, that were over the age of 40, and that's okay, But it just showed me that I had a knack.
You did.
I had a niche. I was Momma Yolanda. Kids would, and I called them kids even though they were adults. Like, they depended on me. Like, when it came to things, they knew they could come to me. I didn't care if it was a ride. They always knew I brought extra food or just whatever it was. I just wanted to be a vessel. And there was even times where holidays, I invited people over. Like, I understood. I understood because I had a daughter that age, and she was in Detroit at Wayne State. So she was in college there. So I definitely understood the importance of having someone maybe a little older. And I knew that a lot of those young folks, that they were, they were going through things. They were away from home, right? Yeah. So I just wanted to be a vessel and utilize what I have, right? And because, honey, I did go down that road where I compared myself, right? And I was like, well, there is none, right? Because it's like a 20-year age difference. Let's just be real, right? So I had to think about what were my attributes, right? Like, what could I bring?
Exactly.
And that was just it. It was like, hey, I have this auntie, grandmotherly, soulful thing going on, and I'm going to hone in on that, right? Yes, ma'am.
I love that. And I think that that's so important for us to, because comparison is a thief of joy, first of all. So when you get to the place where you're comparing to yourself, you're always losing something in that.
Yes,
but when you take that moment to say, if the comparison gives you the aha moment to say, hey, I have assets. I have things that are valued. And this other person has something of value. Let's build a coalition together. And let's fight for something together. And let's show how we can do this together. I think that's very, very important.
Yeah.
And so you did your 2 years in the classroom.
Yes,
and so you taught 5th grade English for both years?
I did. I taught English 5th grade for both years. And then 2 years ago, I made that transition of starting to teach science. And I love it. Like, I can't even explain it. Like, I just can't explain it. It's because it was things that I was already doing. So then I started teaching 6th grade science, and when I started doing that, first 5th grade science, and then when I started 6th grade, just understanding energy and just the dynamics of science. It's just all facts. So it was a lot of things that I was already doing, like conservation, right? Trying to talk to people about taking care of our planet. Do not litter, just those type of things. And then learning about the water cycle. I mean, it's just so much where my eyes and my ears were already open, because I could watch PBS for fun. Like, that was me. I'll be that person watching PBS. Yeah, like, I didn't.
So what I love about this, and we're about to take a break, is this 2-year commitment allows you to be able to, and I'm seeing this trend with you, it allows you to say, no matter what situation Yolanda's in, there's always an asset, there's always something that you can pull in and pull to you to be able to live into and manifest your purpose.
That's it.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like, I always had a preference of what I wanted to teach. But it literally took my boss to pull something out of me that I didn't even know I had, right? It was like, here, try this science. I think you'll like it. Yeah. And, at first I'm like, man, ELA science, like, how did I do that? I'm learning things myself. But once I got it so quickly, right? So I am definitely grateful and blessed to have mentors and people like that I look up to that seen something else in me that I did not even see, because anything they put in front of me, I was successful, right? And yeah, I can just thank the Creator for that.
I love that. And so I think what I want us to do is take a moment to think about this power of pulling positivity, pulling your assets towards you. Where are you at in your life right now? Is it in a situation where you feel like you're at the bottom of the ocean, and if you let out a scream, you're not going to make it to the top? Are you floating on the top and you're fine and it's just sunshine? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Either way it go, how can you in that situation pull in positivity and lean on your assets? Because I believe, just like Yolanda has done, you're going to survive, and not only survive, you're going to thrive. We're going to be back.